Maybe you what?
Maybe I'll have a week off in a couple of weeks, and he.
You just had 2 weeks off. What are you talking about? Why are you talking about having a week off when you've had 2 weeks off? You've had 3 weeks off this year. Jesus, mate, it's round 9.
That's why I'm so fresh and I'm coming up with all the good stuff.
What are you talking about having another week off? All right, well, that's. I guess so. What's up, everybody, and welcome to All for Footy, the AFL podcast where good friends gather and gab about last week's games, this week's games, and everything in between. I'm your host, Nathan, Mr. 9 out of 9 Norman, joined, as always, by the second best podcaster in the world, Dan, the Big Daddy Raby. Dan, how's it going?
Oh, I'm very good, my fairly feathered friend. Good to see you in.
Looks
like a new setting. Is it a new setting?
Yeah. No. Got a new location. Moved house over the last week or two.
You kept all that pretty quiet. That's interesting. And,
well, I did it all myself, mate. I don't need no help. Don't need no help from no one.
I've just tuned in. I've just literally raced in the door only a couple of minutes ago, and got old mate Steelo here as well. And we just thought we'd cook up a feed, but then we realised it was pod night, and so I've just got home from work, and so we thought we'd just sit down and catch up with you. But yeah, good. So you're in a new house. Wow.
Yeah. Well, let's not go any further. Thank you for introducing Steele. That's my job. I'm the host. All right. So I'm introducing the third person on the podcast tonight. It's the man of steel, Steelo.
Yo.
Sup, bro. Sorry, Raby ruined your introduction. He just stepped all over it. It's very unprofessional of Mr. Daniel Raby.
That's alright, yeah, it was a bit of an Easter egg. If you didn't know, now you know. That's it, mate. Oh, mate, what a crazy week it was. Can't even own team at the moment, so... Oh, mate.
It was such a crazy week, I don't even remember what happened.
Nah, I'm pretty close, though. I've been very close with everything. Like, if you had a margin on every game in the tips, I'd be doing very well. But unfortunately, they just do the margin for the Friday night game or the first match.
Yeah, well, and too bad. Now you're looking at that margin.
Not particularly great. I think I stuffed up tipping Carlton or something in the first round, right?
And what, giving them a huge margin? 232, that's... What's not the worst? Molian is on 427 for a margin.
I think a lot of people stuffed up on that first round, I think.
I think Molian just goes, I like this team. This team's going to win by 10 goals. And it's like Essendon versus Collingwood or something. I swear he does shit like that. But yeah. But anyway, we'll talk about tips later, bro. Come on.
No, that's it.
We gotta get into, last week's games first. And that's me saying, let's get into last week's games. So we're getting into it.
Straight in.
All right, it was round 9, the AFL 2025 home and away calendar. It was a Thursday night football at Optus Stadium. It was Fremantle versus Collingwood. Fremantle 12-11-83. Collingwood 15-7-97. Collingwood by 14 points. Dan.
Oh, look, what a game to open it up. I mean, all the talk was Collingwood going over with what they said was half a side, and I thought I'll read through that a bit because, they're a pretty good squad, Collingwood, whoever they take, wherever they play, and didn't they just get the business done? I mean, they got out to an early lead there, and...
Well, Freo did, yeah.
In the end, Freo bit back a couple of times, but Collingwood just too strong, and, how's Elliott going? What did he kick in the end? 6 or 7? I think maybe 5.
Stood up
6 goals, 2.
He got 6, yeah. And
having all that space to himself.
Oh, and I just thought another one that goes really under noted here at the moment is just Big Coxie. He plays such a role, and he opened up after the game and had a bit of a chat, and he was talking about his leadership without the ball roles, and does a lot of directing and a lot of moving players from behind the ball while he's looking down the line.
Yeah,
and he's like field coach Coxie, and he played a big role that night, and he had a big game, and there's just got so many stars, and good to see Membry playing well as well. So it pains me to say, but I'm a bit of a fan of the Pies at the moment. They're really impressing.
100%.
Yeah, no, they look, it was Freo, and it was a close win. But Freo did seem to be playing a bit better than usual. Like, they weren't like the rabble that we've seen them against teams like Melbourne and stuff.
Too ineffective with the ball. I mean, they led all the numbers on the night. They had the leading inside 50s. They had the most clearances. You know, you name it, they almost led in the start. And yet they just couldn't put it into her hands inside 50. So, you know, it's concerning for them, the way they're using the ball going forward. And it's been their story for a couple of years now, just their massive ineffectiveness with their forwards. And,
just sort of breaks down. Breaks down from the back line down to the forward line. Like, they got a pretty sturdy back line. They're pretty together. But then, somewhere along the way, if it's the midfield that sort of can't deliver it to the forwards, it might be half the problem. But yeah, definitely, it's just their efficiency going forward was like half that of Collingwood's, and that's where it really just hurt them. Like, Collingwood, just deadly. I think they were scoring like 35. Oh, yeah, just at a high percentage from inside 50. Pretty much 50-50 every time they'd get inside 50. They were half a chance of kicking a goal. So, it's a hard trip for them to do, and I think they were coming off a short break as well. They rested 4 players, and far out, they still got it done. So,
and I'll just give you the hot scoop that Coach Watch has been in action this week, and the D low is that J Low could be on the heave ho. So just watch. Yeah, it's really one to watch at the moment over in Fremantle. I mean, the newspapers are really circling with the headlines at the moment, and you know, I think at the moment in a 2-team town, and West Coast are just, you know, they're battling, and at the moment Freo, and it's going to be one to watch in the coming weeks. I reckon it's not going to take long. So if they lose another couple of games, you know, I just think the coach is in major strife.
So J Lo's going to on the D low.
It's on the D low, so don't mention it too loud. But J Lo could be on the heave ho.
Okay.
Yeah, you got that. You got that, Steelo. You got that.
The scoop. You heard it here first on All for Footy.
I love it. That was crazy.
That was good. We like it. We like it here. Well, yeah.
That's what happens in Coach Watch. You know, we get a little bit technical.
Saucy.
Yeah. Thankfully, Fenno tipped that one, so we all caught up on him on that one. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Pretty good. He tipped Freo. Haha. I'll take that. All right. Moving on to the next game. It was Friday night football at the MCG. It was St Kilda versus Carlton. St Kilda 9-8-62 to Carlton 11-11-77. Carlton by 15 points. They let me down. Steelo.
Yeah, we're all on the friend train, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely on the friend train for that one, but I got kicked the fuck off. It was not ideal.
A bit better effort, the Saints, but
it's going to be real hard to tip the Saints again unless they get a smashing or just play out of their skin. They need to show me something again, because it was a pretty lackluster performance. And they just couldn't get their game going. And they just really struggled without having a big forward, I reckon. Like, obviously, it's the age-old story, but they were doing the best they could with what they had. But they're missing a centerpiece down there.
Hey, they weren't giving it to them. They weren't far behind like the entire game, but still couldn't get that W. And, you know, this is the team that lost to Richmond. So, crazy. Don't you think, Rabes?
It was very. I mean, I just felt bad for the people that went to the game, namely Patrick. I mean, he tipped Freo. He was actually another one that tipped Freo.
He tipped the Dodgers.
And he was then at the game, and when I spoke to him about it, he said it sucked. It just sucked the whole night because they were just
always behind. Down. Yeah, always just behind, but not like by less than a goal or anything. It was like
but a little surge at the end there, and it looked promising to maybe steal the win, which would have been nice. But you know, I just felt like Carlton really deserved that win by a goal or two. I mean, they're key players stepped up and kicked key goals when it counted, and that's what wins your big games. So,
yeah, Kerno kicked a few real good ones.
Yeah, and
at least one good one, actually. I shouldn't say a few. Yeah, no, a few good ones. Yeah. I mean, I just remember one that was just like, fuck off. And I was just like, oh, St Kilda supporters everywhere feeling it tough right now. But hey, good on Carlton, finally getting another W.
Oh, what's it? They're building something of a season. They're a chance now. So.
Let's not go that far. I still don't think they're a chance now. I think any serious team will smack them.
Well, they do get a double up against Richmond, North Melbourne, and West Coast this year. So, it's going to be handy for them come later in the year. I think they have one of the better runs. They definitely play a lot of more winnable games.
Yeah, well, if they play D's again, D's will smash them.
It's definitely too early to rule them out. And they're a dramatic team. They're like, they just got everybody talking about them. Obviously, they had a little bit of a rough start, but look at them now. They've won 4 games, is it, already? So they're just rolling. They're rolling pretty steadily. And,
winning 4 games in this...
A game up and running as purely as it can be, because that's definitely top 8 stuff.
Winning 4 games in this environment is not good enough as far as I'm concerned. There are too many teams in that position.
Yeah, the best footy's probably top 6, I'd say. But we'll see if they can get to it.
Yeah, they're interestingly placed on the ladder there. 1 game out of the 8. So, no, look, I'll back them in to make the 8 this year. I think they get enough wins and might do what they've done the last couple of years, not fire a shot in finals, but they'll make it.
Yeah, well, hang on, I'm just looking at their history now. So they beat St Kilda by 15. They got smacked by Adelaide by 10 goals. They beat they beat Geelong. They smacked North. They beat West Coast. They lost to Collingwood. They lost to Doggies. They lost to Hawthorn. They lost to Richmond. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they pulled it out of their ass to beat Geelong. I guess. But other than that, nothing's really that impressive. I guess the Geelong win is a bit impressive in and of itself, though. But I don't know. Geelong have been slipping up a bit this year, so... Oh, well. Alright. Move on to the next game. It was Saturday football at the MCG. It was Melbourne versus the Hawks. It was Melbourne 7-14-56 to Hawthorn 13-13-91. Hawthorn by 35 points. Reeby.
What a result for Hawthorn. I mean, Melbourne really made them earn it in the first half there, where they were playing good footy too, the Ds. They were electric, a bit unpredictable, and Fritsch was popping up with a few, and I genuinely thought that Melbourne were probably going to pinch it on the day because of the low-scoring nature to it. And then Hawthorn just put the foot down, didn't they? They just...
sad.
Without a blink, they just slammed them on and shut the door in what was a low-scoring game. But, yeah, it was a tight tussle there for a bit. And Hawks just did what they had to do. And I feel like, in the end, deserved winners. But Melbourne, they just keep showing a lot of glimpses of definitely not being too bad at the moment. And I just think it's a bit easy to put them in the it's all over boat. But really, with the few glimpses of good footy ahead this season, they also could be a team that, they could sneak into the 8.
I hope so. I don't see it, though, unfortunately. We've lost too many games against teams that are down at the bottom, so I just don't see us upsetting any of the big teams. It's we've beaten Fremantle, North, and Fremantle, West Coast, and Richmond, and that's it. Like, we got pumped by North by 10 goals. I still can't forget that. Like, that is a big glaring thing in my mind. So yeah, no, I don't see Melbourne going anywhere this year. I've already written them off, unfortunately.
I mean,
are they? Oh, I guess. Yeah, they did draw with Brisbane this week, but that's still not dumping Brisbane by 10 goals. You know what I mean? Like, they were never going to do that. But they could do it anyway. Don't want to make this about how terrible Melbourne is, because it's unfortunate. No. But hey, look, I'll support my team in every game, and I'll always hope for their victory.
It's definitely great signs.
They won't get my tip.
They're marching along a bit here, but it'd be a big test for them this week when they match up against the Gold Coast after, the game they played on the weekend. It doesn't quite suit that style of footy at all. So it's going to be interesting to see if Hawks can bring 2 completely different modes in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
There might be questions.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But go the Hawks, still rallying up those 4 points, and just sitting pretty in the 4, I reckon.
Yeah, well,
love to see these 2 teams face off at the
There's
MCG.
Hawthorn, 3rd on the ladder. So Melinda's very happy at the moment, and yeah, it's a real buzz down at Glenferrie.
Shout out to Mellimo.
And I believe that Frankston might be playing Box Hill maybe next week or this week out at Box Hill. So that'd be a big game in their reserves down in the VFL there.
Possibly.
Oh, yeah. Sign up.
Shout out to Vossi Star as well. Played a ripper of a game on Saturday night down there for Frankston. For Frankston, got a 1-point victory over Coburg with a kick after the siren.
Ah, good stuff.
And,
that would have been great.
Oh, mate, I'm sure the boys had a big night that night just to celebrate.
Very
And
cool.
they actually off to play the Southport Sharks next week. So they got a bye this week. Then they got Southport Sharks. So we might be able to get one of our listeners along to maybe go and scope the game and give us an insight.
All right, no worries. That sounds good. All right, and that was Melbourne versus Hawthorn at the G. Moving on to the next game, Saturday afternoon football at Marvel Stadium. It was Essendon versus Sydney. Essendon 11-5-71 to Sydney 8-15-63. Essendon by 8 points in quite an upset. Sydney, damn, Essendon just snatching that win. But yeah,
Wow.
Steelo.
Unbelievable. The Dons are back on the winners list.
But they should have won by a lot more, though.
Took them a long time. They've been playing some average footy. We've all thought that it would happen a bit quicker than this, but it was a strong win. They can definitely hold their heads up after this one. It was against a decent outfit. Unlucky for the Swannies. Sides are still getting up and about to face them because they're last year's grand finalist, but really not able to perform like it. They don't really look like that same team as last year.
No, they don't.
No, man.
Understandably, they're trying to bring forward a new game plan.
Yeah.
But, and so it's taken them a bit.
They're sitting on 3 wins. They're just above Melbourne on the ladder. So that's where they are right now. That's not good.
It'll be interesting in the coach's box, how much of it is a factor of trying to implement their own game plan, a new game plan, or now that, it's getting a bit later in the season and they're just going to start going all in and be like, all right, well, we need to start actually winning some games. So, far out. Actually, at this point, they're pretty much all in with their rebuild of restructuring. And, even just losing a player like Parker and some of the engine room, it's costing them.
I think it's, I feel like they've got a bit of post-GF, anxiety, some PTSD from the grand final last year, and they just can't get out of this funk that they're currently in.
And don't forget they lost the grand final 2 years earlier as well by 60 points to Geelong. So they've taken a double pounding in a couple of years there.
Yeah.
And it's taken a bit of a toll, isn't it?
Really use it down there.
Yeah, I just don't think anything else describes how far they've fallen from last year. It's just all it's got to be a mental thing, really, because their team's not that different.
It's sort of similar to the great demise of Melbourne Football Club after their premiership.
It is very similar. It's very similar. Thank you for bringing it back to Melbourne.
Well, it's similar, you know what I mean? Because you said Melbourne's fallen like that before, but I'm like, well, one team. But
anyway, let's talk about Essendon. All right, Nate Caddy kicking 3.
Interesting with Essendon.
Merritt repping it up. Got
Go
a couple,
Bombers.
19, Bombers doing good.
Having a ripper year. He's probably a favourite for the Brownlow at this point.
And Dersma as well. He did a couple of really good things right at the end.
Dersma's pretty cool, yeah.
He just sort of did a real stepping play towards the end, and the people, Connie and Blake, big shout out. Listen and watching the game there with Connie. Mate, didn't realise Connie was such a big footy head. She is just dead set yelling at people to shut up because she's watching the end of the game and go Bombers, and she's throwing things through. Bombers supporters are pretty irate at the best of times. She was abusing the umpires, and I feel like she was the 19th player. They got him over the line, and the Bombers. I don't have any faith in them, especially this year. This isn't just trying to bag Bombers. And they just keep popping up with these wins this year. Is that 4 wins or 5? I think it's 4.
I think they've got 5 wins.
5 wins, and
Yeah.
oh
They're
man,
sitting just outside the 8.
Excited for the fans right now. You know, they're winning, and who knows? I mean, at the moment they're on one of those momentum trains, aren't
Hey,
they?
they're looking all right. They're looking all right, but they're getting some close wins. Their wins are pretty close. Like, they're not thumping teams. Like, they're making their supporters worry in every single game.
Yeah, they just look good. So, yeah, they look fast. They just look everything they need to be. And I believe they got the doggies this week. And
That's a hard one. I feel like well, we'll get to that. You keep trying to bring up the future. We're still in the past, bro. We're still in the past. Just chill out, all right, Marty McFly.
Trying to find a way to turn this game into talking about.
We're still talking about this game. So like, pump the brakes, bro. Pump the brakes. But yeah, just need to say, like if I was an Essendon supporter, I would be a little bit unhappy with the amount of contested possessions. Like, it's smashed in contested possessions, and yeah, smashed in stoppage clearances, and yeah, just inside 50s. That was the other one. Inside 50s, smashed in inside 50s, and it's sort of like, well, shit. But they still won, and they still won convincingly, and they should have won by even more. Like, they really took the foot off the pedal in the last quarter, letting Sydney close the gap.
I mean, that's very interesting because Sydney were playing they were just moving the ball forward at all costs. Essendon could not stay with them by the end there, and that really showed a fitness difference.
It was 9-2 at half time, and then Essendon kicked 2 goals for the rest of the game. Yeah. No goals in the last quarter.
0 goals, yeah. So they were really just hanging on, and I feel like Sydney probably should have stolen that game. That's how well they're going at the moment. They can't even pinch the one that they're sort of half slipping over. But maybe both teams just battle to make the 8 this year. There I go, still putting the knockers on Bombers.
I hope Essendon get there. Good on them. They've had a long tough road as well.
I was expecting Julian to be on the pod tonight, considering they won, and he said he'd come on in the next couple of weeks.
Nah, he's going to come on when he has some time off work. He doesn't want to do it on a work night. He doesn't want to. But, yeah, unfortunate.
It's good to see Kako still going as well. Kako played another good game, though.
Yeah,
shout out to the little man.
He looks very comfortable already, doesn't he, at the level? And he's going to be a veteran. You can just see it already. A 200 gamer.
Yeah, I'm still yet to be impressed by him, but I'll give him time.
Hopefully the Dons can hold on to him. Give him a long contract because he looks pretty special.
You reckon?
He makes an impact for just a small bloke. He has a big impact.
Oh, definitely. He's got good pressure and he's pretty clean with the ball when he wins it. And he's going all right for being a young fella in his first season or second.
Lots of talent.
His first season.
Yeah, I've never seen him before, but
I'm pretty sure he got picked up this year.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen him before this year, so yeah, I assume it is. But yeah, just give him some time. Don't put too much. Don't put any pressure on him. Like, just let him cook. Let him cook.
Have you picked up the new AFL game, bro?
No.
On PlayStation?
No, absolutely not.
No. Have you seen? We got not only Vossi Star running around at the moment, but old Tommy Mack. Both made themselves in the game. How good is that?
They just made themselves?
Made the cut. Yeah, that's why they actually decided to have footy careers, because they heard this game was going to come out in 2025. And they thought, how do I get on a PlayStation game? Oh. So that's why they've been busily doing their footy careers. And Vossi has quite the funny mullet. It is a raging mullet.
I don't believe you.
But I was gaming heaps on the weekend, so I was just playing.
I don't think you're playing at all. I don't think you have a PS5.
No, well, I was just playing everything. Whatever was out, I was just playing.
Shout outs, all for footy players, all for footy tipsters in an AFL game, in a PS5 game.
Yeah, celebrity status.
Yeah, good for them. Good for the pod. Maybe we'll get some exposure. We'll get some more views.
Maybe we should get them on the pod in the coming weeks.
No, they don't want to be on the pod. It's all right. Don't hassle them. Don't hassle them.
Hey, you never know. Might come on for a shout out.
We've got a dynamic going, guys. All right, let's work on our dynamic. All right.
All right. Well, our dynamic.
Yeah, our dynamic, bro.
Making it into PlayStation games. That's it.
That's it. That's what it is. Yes.
Made it.
All right, let's move on to the next game, guys. It is Saturday night football TO Stadium. It's Gold Coast versus the Western Bulldogs. Gold Coast 15-6, 106 to the Doggies 14-12, 96. It was Gold Coast by 10 points. Steelo.
Mate, that was a tight match. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness, indeed.
Up in Darwin, she was hot and sweaty, but it was just good to see. The crowd just rolled down in absolute droves. They were enjoying themselves. They were getting a bit loose on the old hot evening.
Yeah.
So having a good time. The crowd, they showed plenty of the crowd on the old Channel 7 broadcast or whatever, on the old Fox broadcast or whatever. It was not bad. It wasn't a bad match of footy either.
No, not
Gold
too
Coast, just strong these days. Just persistent and just well drilled. Like their back line, Mac Andrews just standing up. He's just a bit of a rock down there for him. And just freaking got the job done pretty steadily, pretty hard at it, hard nosed. Gold Coast.
More than hard nosed. It was a tough game of footy, wasn't it?
Yeah, Doggies really tried to catch back up in the end and made it really interesting, but
both teams really cracked in there, and geez, the Gold Coast did the damage though, didn't they, by getting out to that 20-point lead? I felt, they really put it on the Dogs there to, they owned the game, and they probably deserved just to get ahead in the end. But good little comeback from the Doggies too, like. Geez, you never count them out, and they're still looking cracking hot, the Doggies. It's something about the Gold Coast. I think Dimmer, he's tightened them up just that little bit more, hasn't he? And I
do feel like they're a bit better this year than last year, but only a bit better.
There's a lot of competition for spots in there, and how good's Bailey Humphrey going? I mean,
absolute bull.
He's just electric at the moment, that kid. And
kicked the ball about 70 metres too, I reckon.
And King as well.
The better King, he's definitely better than the other King, that's for sure.
Look, I'm going to give All for Footy another first tonight, and I'm going to agree.
Oh, there we go. We finally defeated him. We defeated
Sadly, the Doggies looked like they needed an extra forward down there. They needed a 6'3" forward just running around and just clunking them, kicking them from 50, but they don't have one. So it was a bit of a watch, but it was tough from someone who tipped the Doggies. I could only imagine for the Doggy supporter.
Yeah, would have been rough.
They've let a few matches go this year, and this was probably another one of them where they had what it takes to win it, I reckon, but just a few things went wrong along the way.
Yeah, unfortunately, if Bont doesn't have a good night, you're in bad trouble.
Gold Coast are looking pretty strong this year. Doesn't seem to be as much of an issue winning away from home this year. So that was pretty much their only knockback. That was their only knock last year. So.
Yeah, well, I think Gold Coast have sort of crushed that sort of hoodoo, and they're just a really good, solid team now. I do think, the other team does have a bit of an advantage with the home game against Gold Coast, but I do think Gold Coast are just that good. It just doesn't. It sort of overrides most of it at this point.
They're just gelling even more. Yeah, they're still young. They're still surprisingly young, considering they've been around for a while now as a team. Actual core group still pretty young, so it's going to be dangerous if they get up and rolling. So look out, next few clash.
Yeah, no, absolutely, but yeah, it was just so unfortunate for the Doggies though. Like, as you said, they don't really have a forward line. So they've got Aaron Norton. He's right there. Why isn't he's their forwardman? He's their goal scorer? Yeah. What's he doing?
Yeah, no.
What's he doing? He didn't even get
at the moment, isn't he?
I don't even think he got a scoring shot.
Square.
Yeah, you can't really rely on him to kick 6 goals. Like, even if you're feeding him non-stop, he's a bit too inaccurate to be your number one forward.
Yeah,
he's still
one miss.
One of the best forwards in the game playing, and he's playing a lot more midfield time than he probably needs to, but it's hard not to put him in the midfield. But the Bont up forward, I think, as the year wears on, and he'll get plenty of forward time, and he's going to kick a couple here and there.
Good call.
But Bont 1 goal 3 this game, not that good, unfortunately. Liberatore, he did well, got racked up a heap of posies and 15 contested possessions, But yeah, it's just, as you said,
Get on the Bont Two
Who
goals.
have they got to kick goals?
2 goals.
Where was Jamara Ugelhagen? He was in the side this week. Something happened to him.
I
He's
think
injured.
he was at the Pancake Parlour in
Pancake parlour, was he?
Malvern. Yeah, he was ordering fries and loaded fries.
But you got the pancake parlour. Don't you get pancakes at the pancake parlour?
Not Jamara, he's a bit different.
Oh, that's odd.
But
That's odd.
I did hear a bit of a scoop on him tonight where they said, just watch this space. You know, even though he's fallen out from where he is, he's a very good talent, and they're very confident that he'll probably get shopped around a bit and end up at a new club. And I'm sure he'll fall back on his feet, ready to play good footy. And they used the Hogan example as one just to base him off a bit. That, you know, Hogan had his ups and downs, but by the time you get these big fellas right, geez, they don't grow on trees. So, you know, he's an elite talent, and it just might take a few years, but it's all in there. And good luck to the man once he gets his career going at some point.
Yeah, okay. Come to Melbourne, play good football. Be great.
Yeah, feels like it'd be interstate just a tiny bit.
Yeah,
but,
I think it'd be probably get him out of his get him to another state. Get him away from everybody. He knows it's probably for the best. You know, hard reset. All right, well, I guess that'll do for Gold Coast versus Doggies. So let's move on to the next game. It was Saturday night football at Adelaide Oval. It was Port Adelaide versus Adelaide. Port Adelaide 12-12, 84. Adelaide 13-11, 89. Adelaide by 5 points. Doctor.
Oh, well, what a showdown it was. Showdown 57 or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
The way they're just ticking through them. And, you know, the intensity was high, right up there. And, you know, Connor Rosey played quite the game on the night. He might have even got the BOG. Would I be right there? No.
Just cross up.
Yeah, I think so.
No.
He's
But,
one of the top players in the top player highlights.
Yeah, I mean, in my eyes, Riley Thilthorpe on the night was just the man again. I mean, he's just instrumental, and there's something about his presence. The bigger the game, the bigger he plays, and he's just a man monster. And, you know, he was a lot of trouble for Port up forward there. And I reckon he was probably the difference, taking 2 to 3 defenders at times and opening up the ground for the others a little bit as well. And their other forwards, they're loving him getting double and triple teamed because one or two of them at a time are off the leash. And that's where they're cleaning up too. So hats off to Adelaide. And this week, I mean, if this doesn't take you back to Footy Wars, the CD with Collingwood playing Adelaide, traditional rivals, I mean, what a contest it'll be.
What a contest it will be. Thank you for that insight. It'll be good. But yeah,
It's always referring to next week's games.
Let's get back to the game we're talking about, though. So yeah, Connor Rosey, as you said, 32 disposals, had a lot of it. Zach Butters probably one up in him, I'd say, with his performance. But not enough to get the job done. Almost. But really, come on. Everybody here thought Adelaide would probably most likely beat them comfortably, yeah?
Yeah, they should do. They've been the better side this year.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that Paul pulled out all the stops and just fell short, yeah, well, too bad. And am I going to say it? Like, Bell Pepper. Is he lost his spark?
He's a bit roasted, that bell pepper.
I need to peel him.
He kicked 2 goals, sure. He kicked 2 goals in the night.
Rejuvenate the fella.
But is he just not as, like, I remember him being, like, so smooth with the ball, picking it up with ease and handballing on. Just, you know, just the way he handled himself and carried himself on that field. It was like, this guy's perfection sort of thing. I just don't see that anymore, unfortunately.
He could be carrying an injury, I think. He's pretty hard at it, so he's usually carrying something, just a niggle.
Unfortunate. But, you know, still 2 goals on the weekend. Like, I guess that's good. You know, that's good, 2 goals. But 8 disposals. So, very low there. But anyway, Adelaide. Thilthorpe continues to be a great forward for the guys, for the team. Fogarty bagged a few. Rankin was real good, I'd say.
Yeah, he's the one that gets to cash in a bit off Phil Thorpe getting triple teamed here. Rankin's just loving that forward line at the moment.
Yeah, no, you see him like just
It's just miraculous. He's such a good player.
Yeah, he is.
He only needs the meter.
That's it.
Though he doesn't always turn up. I'll say that he doesn't always turn up, but he definitely turned up on the weekend. But yeah, no, Adelaide are looking good. Where are they on the ladder? They're fifth. That's still pretty high. That's up there still.
Had a bit of everything. Just a fucking real good match. Just pick the feet up, crack one, and watch that.
I feel like Adelaide have had some bad losses, though, have they not?
Adelaide, no, mate. They've been all right. Yeah, they've just lost. They've had a couple chinks in their armour recently.
They lost to Freo. They lost to Geelong. They lost to Gold Coast.
Port's in a bit of form now, so it was good to see them just bed. Hopefully they can string up another one or two. Depends on which side you're going for, but Adelaide, no doubt, will win a few more this year.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, looking pretty dangerous, to be honest. Like, they're just getting their dynamic right.
Yeah,
just seeing what they can do when one of the big forwards goes down. The other ones step up and just working out their whole team dynamic, really.
No, exactly. And a lot of their losses haven't been by that much either. Well, all their losses haven't been by that much. It's like 1 point against the Gold Coast at Gold Coast. Like, that's no shame in that as far as I'm concerned. 19 points by Geelong at Adelaide Oval. Yeah, all right, that's you shouldn't have done that. And losing to Freo at their home for 3 goals. I guess that's all right, but then they've come across everybody else and beaten them. So as far as I'm concerned, good season. They'll get plenty more wins.
Really dangerous. Yeah, it'll be down to the coaches. I reckon a lot of it's, if you're coming up against Adelaide, a lot of it's won in the coaches' box.
Yeah. No, we'll see how it plays out. I do see Adelaide doing well and Port Adelaide not doing well. So we'll see how it goes. All right, let's move on to the next game. It's Richmond versus the West Coast Eagles over at the G. It was Richmond 11-15-81 to West Coast 11-13-79. Richmond by 2 points. Steelo.
Oh, Richmond.
Yeah.
Rich what?
Rich what? I had West Coast. This was very frustrating for me because I just... God, anyway. Very annoying.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, Richmond were half a chance. I mean, West Coast were half a chance. We tipped the draw, I think, me and Doctor, when we were just having a bit of a chat about it. We were having a real tough time.
Oh, pretty close.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Yeah, no, Richmond, mate, they've just got what it takes. They're just a little bit better of a team. They look pretty good early days.
Yeah.
So, there's something there for the Tiger fans. It's good to see them get a little dub. West Coast struggling still big time. Probably thought this was one that they should definitely win. Coming from WA, I'm sure the papers are going mad now.
Yeah, this was their one to win. This was their one to win.
Don't get angry at the players and take a good hard look at yourself and the whole state.
Lay off WA, all right? WA is doing all right. Maybe not in the football world, but in general, they're fine, all right? Relax.
Big fan. But just ease off the players, they suck. It's not their fault.
Well, it's more the management, all right? The management for picking the players. So never blame the players. They're trying to do the best they can. It's not their fault if they're not good enough.
Harley Reid, he's almost signed the deal already, I reckon.
But
at this point, he could even go to Richmond and he'd be looking even better.
Oh, no, I don't want him to go anywhere. I like a bit of loyalty in these first-round draft picks, but you never see it. It's unfortunate. But I do think Harley Reid's going to be a big deal. He already is. His presence on the field, even if he has a bad game, he's always getting in people's faces and shit. It's just oh, fuck, this kid. This kid's got some aggression in him,
Oh, weird.
Exactly.
The other teams go at him a little bit just to provoke him.
I think, they do that too, but, come on, surely it's not... Yeah, it's not just him.
If you're blonde, then you're automatically going to be a Geelong player within, 5 years. How things work, isn't it?
Yeah, no, Geelong take half the comp in draft time. Everybody knows that. They're so ambitious, these Geelong people. So ambitious. But yeah, very unfortunate for the West Coast Eagles. Richmond, congratulations. You got another win. And Richmond, sitting pretty on 3 wins for the year. That's not too bad.
Exceeding expectation at this point.
Yeah, because everybody had them at the wooden spoon. Just about. I think West Coast were down there as well. But yeah. Oh well. Too bad. So sad. Nobody else got anything else to say? We'll be moving on to the next game. It was Sunday football at the GMHBA Stadium. Geelong 14-17, 101 to GWS 16-9, 105. GWS by 4 points. Damn, Steelo. What do you reckon of that one?
Read about it, huh? I can't believe it. I watched the game. Far out. I really thought Geelong were going to win this one after the way they've been playing. They've been so strong as a team collectively. But yeah, geez, it was just apparent early on in the match too that GWS had just such a good matchup. They match up well against Geelong, and they were just cutting them to bits. But Geelong was right there still, but they met their match in GWS, and they just run for days. They run all day, and they present in good patterns. And yeah, they just sort of just have it over Geelong. They make Geelong look a bit slow. Looks like Geelong was on the back foot and just a bit too defensive, sort of giving a little bit of space and just trying to bear the front of the tsunami. Because she was getting rolling. It was tumbling in.
Yeah, no, that's how it goes. That's how it goes.
It was a mini suit.
And at the fucking forefront of that tsunami, Jesse fucking Hogan. Jesus Christ, we never should have let him go. But we probably wouldn't be getting the football out of him that he's performing over in GWS. Something about him and GWS just struck well, and fuck, isn't he a star?
Oh mate, he just surfs in on the tsunami and just hangs down and he says, "Oh mate, kick at them."
Like I love seeing players kicking 7 goals in a game. It reminds me of the days of old, where you'd get it multiple times a weekend, a player doing that. Now it's very rare. And now when it does happen, it's like, fucking Jesse Hogan. That's the name. That's the name that accompanies that high number of goals.
Don't let him on any buses because he might break his thumb on the dunny door again. But
seven goals won though. You can't write about it.
100%.
10 contested possessions. Amazing. I can't blow up enough smoke. Yeah, just great to watch as well. And even Stringer did all right for the limited time he was on the field.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, Stringer. And then what he came down with in the end?
Yeah, he got a bit of an injury. I'm not too sure what the injury was, but yeah, he was taken off.
Yeah, he got taken.
It's unfortunate, but hopefully he's all right and he comes back stronger next week.
Good on him. Yeah, GWS, they love playing down there at GMHPA. I wish the Lions knew how to do it just like that.
Yep, they ripped it up. But also can't take away from Geelong. They never let them have it. They didn't let them have it easy.
Pretty good game. A few players worked hard. They all worked hard. And Dangerfield played all right. Brian Myers bit off a few kicks, screwed a couple up, but definitely played a good game all in all. And yeah, the Cats could hold their heads up high.
They can. Although 14-17, oof. That's a lot of behinds.
Oh mate, tried so hard. Was it the ruckman Blitzarves? He played such a good game in the ruck and just around the ground, and then he missed that goal just to try almost to seal the game, to win the game, put him in front with only a couple minutes left. If you could only kick straight.
If only. Are we boring you, Reeby? You're falling asleep.
No, I'm just listening.
You're listening intently, just resting your eyes.
What was that?
What's wrong? No, nothing's wrong with that, man. I'm sorry. But do you have anything else to say about the GWS Geelong match, Mr. Daniel Reeby?
Oh, well, I mean, I was just heavily impressed by the Tsunami's return. I mean, to me, another leader on the day was Tom Green. I just thought he had a ripper. And, yeah, the Giants of old, it just looked a little bit. But, you know, it's something about what that venue does to them. It's like it unbuckles their. Doesn't matter if they're going through a bogey period or whatever. They play Geelong at home and they're like, right.
Listen right up.
So, yeah, very, very interesting result, that one. And good footy and good comeback again in this game. And had it all. But the Giants, wow, they just could have turned the corner there maybe for the season again. I reckon.
No, fair enough.
Seeing it because they looked bloody delicious.
Yeah, no, look, good stuff from GWS and not bad stuff from Geelong. Like, I don't want to take anything away from them. They were right in there the whole game. But Jesse Hogan. Oof.
Yeah, he's the difference there.
Yeah, no, I can't keep going on about him. But let's move on. Let's move on before anybody. Let's just move on.
You're wearing orange too tonight.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. All right, moving on to the next game and the last game of the round. It is North Melbourne versus Brisbane at Ninja Stadium in Hobart. North Melbourne 10-11-71. Brisbane 10-11-71. Steelo.
Where we almost got assassinated by a bunch of ninjas down there.
Yeah, well, look, it still didn't end well in your favour.
No, definitely. We stepped into the dojo and we were lucky to come away with our lives.
You can say that again.
Kangaroos can box, and the Lions were not prepared for that. They haven't seen a lot of kangaroos, where they're from, and the kangaroos were just on their tails, which is actually a dangerous sign for a roos. Yeah, so look out. And they were just smashing us in the ruck all day. The big red roo was just going out. Big X the plug, just hooking them up, just dropping off packages from the air. Big X on left, right, and centre, just dropping them off. And yes, my words, they were just loving it. Boys were just feeding the forwards all day. And North, they were just. I mean, they just had a will about them. They were just one step quicker than the Lions all day. The Lions, they were there. You couldn't really blame any individual player. They were all putting in an effort, but they were just maybe going at like 80%, just hoping to get the job done. Whereas the Roos were just giving it everything they had. And
hey, it was almost enough, just enough. It wasn't enough. It was dead heat. What can I say? But yeah, the Ashcroft brothers ripping it up as usual.
Yeah, the boys are going real well, actually. They're starting to look for each other as well. We're starting to see them get that chemistry on field, which is nice.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. I see a good future for them, but mainly because their last name is Ashcroft, and I remember old Marcus Ashcroft from back in the day.
They both got the goal sense too, as well. Levi's got a real goal sense about him, and he's not to be shown up by his brother, so Will gets kicking him as well.
I missed a 0 out of 4.
9 out of 10.
What number was Marcus Ashcroft?
Wasn't he 9?
Oh, no.
11?
He must have been paying close attention. He was number 10.
10. Around there. Yeah, I was close enough. So shut the fuck up. Oh, pop quiz. Oh, you don't know the answer to the pop quiz? Fuck off, nerd. All right.
This guy. But no, it was a great game of footy in the end. The spectacle, wasn't it? And the nighttime conditions in Tassie there, it was very tough towards the end for both teams to move the ball properly, really quickly, cleanly. So that did add to the atmosphere of the game at the end there. It was tough. It was playing what you call like heavy conditions. So, it wasn't easy, and that was a good little eye-opener for Brizzy that I thought they're quite flexible in most conditions. A few weeks ago they got a pretty good win against someone now when they just played the conditions well. Yep. And, they didn't play badly at all. And North were right able to stay with them in the game. So hats off to North there for the effort. And all in all, I saw quite a competitive game of footy, and I listened to the last quarter, walking the dog. Got very exciting on the radio. They were really giving a good samosa of the game.
Yeah, they were giving a great synopsis of the game. Would have
They
been
were
great.
very detailed because they know you're not watching, so it was actually listening.
They were very delicious samosas.
Hopefully they get a good review out of it. The boys, the Lions. Hopefully they get something to review out of it because I didn't have a lot to take away from it other than North played really well. The boys were just expecting an easy win.
They were tactically good. I mean, they
Yeah,
tagged
well-
Neil out of the game, and I think you have a debuter from North. I can't remember his name right now, but he actually went head to head with Lockie Neal for half the night, or maybe not a debuter, but he's playing in his first handful of games, and he had 6 touches and Neil had 17. So you'd say they got the chockies there, and
Yeah. But Dane
That was
Zorko running away with 39 disposals. What a
lots
number.
of green shoots for North at the moment. I mean, I think in the next couple of years, they're just going to do a Hawthorn. I really see it, where they're really going to progress into being a side that's got players in all positions. And I know at the moment that's what they're building towards. They're not rushing towards getting a handful of wins. They want to build a base of players that can stand up to AFL level. And, Clarko's preached it, that's going to be where he's going to get the club to. And, I believe him. And I think at the moment on the weekend, those signs that were there where that's the standard, So, it's sort of like both teams walked away not exactly losing. I think Brizzy, it kept them on top of the ladder. That's as good as a win for now. And North with the green shoot. So I think both teams, hats off.
You take 2 points away from it.
Yeah,
I can't take my hat off. I'm sorry. I'm wearing my headphones over them. I can't take my hat off. My apologies.
Yeah. I wouldn't take that hat off either. It's too good to risk losing.
It's a great hat. Oh my god. Lovely. Antique. One of a kind. Two of a kind. There's 2 of them actually.
Does anyone have any opinions on the draw while we throw it around?
Oh no!
No, unfortunate for Brisbane. Unfortunate.
Extra time wasn't needed.
I mean, a yes or a no quickly, just off the bat, where it's one of those ones. I'm firmly in the no boat. I mean, I think it's rarer than rocking horse poo. I just think you have a draw, you cop it. Each club might only have one draw every handful of years. So, live with it, even if it is a bit stinky.
Now live with it. Who cares? Like, it's tradition at this point. Let's not change it. Let's not screw with tradition. You know what I mean?
It is what it is, and in finals,
tis what it
we'll
is.
get the result.
Exactly. All right, well, with that, guys, let's move into tipping results for this week.
Oh, love this bit.
This week's tips, yeah, fuck yeah.
All right. I have to bring up. All right.
Oh, hold on.
All right. All right. Well, this week, boys, 5 people got 7 out of 9.
Ooh.
So that's the top of the group. So that's Jim Bob, Alan, BT, Balin, and Surf and Sammy. All on 7.
Sammy.
So good for them.
Well done for all them.
Of course, holding down the bottom, the Doctor and Millie Moo coming in at 3. 3 apiece. I know it's a rough time.
Not surfing.
But Steelo, you got 5. You got in the middle there. I got 5 as well. So
Yeah, I'm not surfing.
Wish we did a bit better there. So
It'd be
yeah,
rough.
unfortunately, that makes you fall outside the 5. Steelo, you were in the top 4. I think you were top 4 last week. But yeah,
I couldn't handle the pressure. All right, I'm happy with it down here at number 5. It's a good little striking distance.
well, you're down at number 6, so you're out of the top 5. So yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm still at 15, still hanging in there. The Doctor, 22nd, I'm afraid. But we can't both be wearing the All for Footy hat. What are you doing? It's too much All for Footy.
Bad. Am I that low?
You're that low. You're 3rd from the bottom.
Oh,
Above Balin and Julian, who's just tipping with his heart like 100%.
shout out to Balin. Is that Wheels' nephew?
Cousin. Yeah, he came into the comp late. That's why he's on such a low score. It's unfortunate. Unfortunate for him. But yeah, the top 5 reads as such. Number 5. Alan Fauna. Mr. 0 out of 0 himself. 0 out of 9 himself.
Top corner.
Yep. And then number 4, the Tech Wizard, Surfing Sammy.
Oh,
Who'd have thought?
Surfing that orange.
training wheels are off.
She's surfing the tsunami with Hogan.
We need to get her on the pod. She seems to know what's going on this year. All right, coming in at number 3, running late. That's Reeby's secret friend. And
Oh, Luke, he slipped down a couple.
so yeah, Alan and Surf and Sammy all on 54, as well as you, Steelo, but you're losing by margin. But Luke is on 56, 2 ahead of you guys. And then Jim Bob Parker coming in at second on 58, 2 ahead of Luke.
Taking it seriously.
Well, he would have tipped the Bombers, so...
Yeah. And then coming in at number 1 on 62, Fenno, the big wheel himself.
Big wheels. They just keep on turning at the top.
Oh, did you hear his nonsense about, I can't log in, I can't do my tips?
That was all fake.
It was all fake. He's full of shit.
Does he have anything else in his life that he cares about as much as tipping?
Well, except for
His family. His family. He cares about his family a lot. Yeah, no.
A bit apart from that, because that's the obvious one. I mean, I don't think so, Steelo. Maybe his football Guernsey collection.
Yeah, the collection.
Yeah, the collection. No, yeah, that's up there. That's up. He cares about that. That's for sure. No, look, Fenno cares about a lot of things. All right.
I bet you he's working a couple less hours a week so that he can sit down somewhere to make sure that he goes over every game. You know, none of this working full 45, 50 hours. I need a few hours to designate to tips.
Mate, I just think that's what he's doing. Like when he goes to the toilet, he pulls out his phone. He's like, all right, fuck it.
Analyze. Yeah, he's using his time wiser.
He uses his time wisely, absolutely.
Yeah, because that's what it takes to be a great tipper. You know, you got to use your time wisely. I had a hangover from last year. You know, I couldn't commit as much time in the toilet block. You know, Jai was on to me. All these little things where I've got a close tag this year. You know, my mum and Sammy are both on to me about my tips, and sometimes I'm trying to throw them off, and so it's all going against me this year with a lot of close tagging. But I feel like next year I'll break that shackle a bit. You know, maybe this season, and I'll
don't give up. You can't give up. You got to keep going.
All right, shout outs to the guru of Tippity Doo. He's an absolute.
It's very unfortunate. I'm not used to being in this sort of situation. I'm used to always like being up in the top with the tips.
It's rattling.
So I'm very not happy with how I'm sitting at the moment. It's I've never sat this low in a tipping comp before. This is a personal disgrace to me, and hopefully I can catch up. But you know, it's hard when you don't tip the favourites every week.
But I mean, you've probably got a good excuse. I mean, you're moving house at the moment, and your team's doing so well. So it's like all that combines to not a strong year.
Can I also ask you guys, why are you guys so out of camera? Like, can you tilt your camera down a bit? Like, you got all this space above your heads. It's weird.
I don't know.
It's hard.
Welcome back. No, leave it. It's just where we're sitting. But anyway, yeah. So
much better.
Oh, look at that steel!
I can see the steel.
I was wondering.
Fuck, he loves you, Steelo. He's wearing a jumper with you.
I actually love my captain, Jack Steele.
Yeah, no, you love Steelo, and I love to see it. It's good friends, and good love. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, mate. This is all for footy merchandise. You just cover that. That's Steelo's face.
I'll give you a face to cover in a second.
Does it look like him? We're going like for like there. We're doing the split screen.
No, that is him. That's the Man of Steel. If I've ever seen him anywhere. All right, well, let's move into this week's games, guys. Thursday night football at TO Stadium. Jeez, they get another one. Gold Coast versus Hawthorn. Reeves, who you got?
Well, I mean, I just feel like the wind is blowing in Gold Coast direction here. Even though Hawks are playing quite valiant football, I'll be interested to see if they can take it up there and get it done against Gold Coast, who are going to be staying the week in Darwin, very conditioned to the conditions. And just see this one being quite tough for Hawthorn, but I'm not putting it past them. I mean, I'm going to tip Gold Coast, but geez, I mean, I just think Gold Coast by 20 points, but I wouldn't be shocked if Hawthorn play a game here that shocks you a bit.
Yeah.
And they do find a way, but I just think they might struggle to find that way.
No, fair enough. Steelo, who you got?
Well, I think I'm gonna have to jump on the bandwagon of some of the gurus this time. If even what Dan's saying about the Gold Coast has got me thinking that I think they're the way to go this week. But I mean, it does seem like the wind's blowing in their direction. And
It's third versus
they've
fourth,
just
isn't
got
it?
a bit of that snake oil. I don't know if it's snake oil or if it's
Hang
the
on.
real. I think it might be.
They're a bit slippery still.
If they're spending the week there, they like the conditions in the first place. They like it hot. And they played a good game on the weekend. It surprised me, so
So
gonna
who you
have to
got?
jump on again.
Gold Coast?
Yeah, mate.
There we go. All right, well,
Big game. I love that game.
yeah. They are. It is third and fourth facing off, by the way, Reeves. Look, I'm gonna have to go Gold Coast as well. But every time I tip them, I feel like they seem to let me down. But no, I'm tipping them.
I know what you mean, but I feel like this is a bit of a home ground for them, so I think.
Well, it's not a home ground for Hawthorn, so I don't think Look, I'm going Gold Coast. But yeah, as you said, I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn beat them. As they're both very good sides at this point. Could go either way.
Gold Coast through the middle.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving on to this game. Friday night football at the SCG. It is Sydney versus Carlton. Dan, who do you have?
I mean, this one lines up as your old classic barn burner, I feel. I mean, you've just got Sydney that are really struggling to get the results, although showing patches of good football. And I think Carlton are like a quilt, they're just patchy, and their good's great and their bad's just quite bad. And, I feel like they travelled to Adelaide only a week ago, Adelaide, and lost by 10 goals. This one to me has been a real flip-flop one. I mean, I'm leaning towards Sydney getting one on the getting one going here.
Yeah.
They lose this. I mean, I think I said it last week against Essendon that if they lose this, it's season over. And I just think they go back home this week and they probably give themselves one more. Not to say that they write themselves off or on any time, but the desperation that's probably going to start to come out in the performance. And Carlton, I mean, their tools played well last week, and I feel like this ground doesn't quite offer the same dynamic for those tools, and it can be a bit different out there. So, I might just have Sydney but in a close one by 4 points.
Oh, fair enough. That is a close one. Steelo, who you got?
I just can't keep tipping Sydney to no avail. So I think I'm just going to have to jump ship and just jump on Carlton's wagon because they're riding pretty quickly. They're looking like they've finally got things on the straight and narrow. And I say that with bated breath.
Yeah, you should. They've had one decent win, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Well, who now?
I'm gonna have.
Betting.
I'm only counting one decent win. Now I'm gonna have to go Sydney. I think they just want one. They just need one. They need one. This is a need for them. This is not just another game that they should lose. With Carlton, they need to get this one. It's at home. They're still reigning premiers. They've still got roughly the same side. They can fire when they need to, and I reckon they'll fire for this one.
Oh, look out.
Well said.
Exactly. All right, Saturday football at the MCG. It is Collingwood versus Adelaide. Reeby.
Oh, wow. I mean, traditional rivals of all time there.
Magpies and Crows.
I just think that Collingwood have been on the up for so long here, and I've been saying it for a while that I feel like they're due a loss, and they just keep sneaking. Although they did lose to Geelong there, so there was the one. They go away on the weekend again, but I just feel like this weekend it's going to be different. I mean, I've come around. I gave it a good little bit of samosa time this morning while I was going over the games, and early, because having not seen the teams, I believe Adelaide are going to be able to outrun and gun Collingwood here, because the midfield battle is probably going to be won by Collingwood, like it is most weeks, even though on the weekend they actually lost clearances, but Freo had the ruckman. But I just think Adelaide's forwards on this ground, I mean, they kicked 160 points against Essendon early in the year. Adelaide, a huge score. And, I really reckon they'll get a solid 120 on the board this week. Can Collingwood match it? It might just be a little bit too far, and yeah, I think Adelaide will get them here by 16 points.
Oh, fair enough. Steelo, who you got?
Red Jays. Well, the second week in a row that Adelaide will be playing against the black and white bars, the black and white prison bars.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it's a matter. I wonder what the Pies will do. I definitely think they got a good back line. So they got Darcy Moore, and then they've got Quainer, and what is brother coming back? Is Brandon Maynard coming back?
We'll find out. We don't usually know by Monday.
They've got some good defenders.
Back, obviously.
They might just need one more tall defender to match up on the Adelaide's big three.
Yeah, big job.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think I'm gonna back in the Pies at the G. You know, they're capable of good things, and they're not going to rest on their laurels. They'll know that this is a big game, and yeah, they're going to do some research. Hopefully, I back in Fly and the Pies.
Yeah. Well, Pies at the G. You know, they're second on the ladder for a reason. This team's seeing a finals for sure, and you know, Adelaide. Sorry, you're at the G. You're donezo. You're done. All right, moving on to this game. Saturday football at the Adelaide Oval. It's Port Adelaide versus Geelong. Reeby.
Well, some tough tipping this week, isn't there? I see that Port Adelaide might be losing a couple this week after last week's game. They had a few one knockout. Can't recall who it was, and so we'll have to definitely wait on the sides a bit here, because I mean Geelong travel well to Adelaide, and you know, if Port are down a couple, I really think Geelong get them over there. You know, I don't see why they won't go over there full of confidence and up and about, especially if Port maybe licking their wounds after a tough showdown loss. And yeah, I just think Geelong will probably just be too strong, but it's tough to tip against Port at home, so you always go in a little bit wary, but
Geelong need to pull this one off.
I think I've got Geelong ahead, wanting a rebound win after last week's loss.
Yeah, for sure. Steelo?
Jeez, it'll probably be my most tipped team this year. I reckon I'll have to go with Geelong.
Same, I'm on that friend train. Right there with wheels. Geelong all the way. I just don't think, like, you know, Port at home. Yeah, but Geelong, baby. Geelong, baby. All right, moving on to the next game. It is GWS versus Freo at NG Stadium. Reebs, who you got?
We have GWS versus Fremantle. Did you say yes? Yes.
At NG Stadium.
Yes, wow. I mean, Freo are going to be sneaky over here. I mean, I'm going to be Giants, well and truly.
Okay, good.
Thinking that they've turned the corner a bit, but Freo are that team where they just keep putting in those performances where you sort of don't see them coming a lot this year, and so yeah, be wary tipsters out there, but you know, it's hard to go against the Giants with their form.
Yeah, Steelo?
Yeah, off the back of playing up, I went down in GM HBA against the Cats. They should be up and about and just keep that tsunami rolling through and just wash away all the purple haze.
Yeah,
so yeah, Giants.
That's
not paying attention.
No, we got it. Thank you very much. GWS for sure, man. I think GWS across the board here. Like, I don't really see anybody wanting to go out on a limb and back Freo in this one.
Abs would.
He'd support them, but he'd know. He'd know. There's no chance. There's no chance you're throwing a tip away. If he was at the top of the leading tip, if it was up the top of the ladder, tipping ladder, he absolutely would not be tipping Fremantle. He'd be like, can't trust it. All right, moving on. Saturday night football at Marvel Stadium. The Doggies versus Bombers. Reebs.
Dogs.
Steelo.
Oh, it's probably going to be more complicated than just saying it, but yeah, I'll go the Dogs as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go Dogs too. I'm right on that friend train, Mr. Rick Parker. That's the only reason I'm tipping him. I'd tip Essendon otherwise, but I'm on the good friend train. My good friend Rick Parker.
There's
The only
no
P I
chance
want in this pod.
Essendon win this.
Sorry?
There's no chance Essendon win this.
Yeah,
Surely
well, that's usually when Essendon win.
not. No, dogs are going to be hungry after last week
No,
going
well,
down to Darwin.
That's why we're all going for dogs. But, you know, Bombers have exceeded expectations this year, so you never know. You never know. I know one person will be tipping them, that's for sure. Alright, let's move on to the next game. It is Sunday football at the MCG, Richmond versus North Melbourne. Another close one. Reeves.
Well, I reckon North get it done here. You know, I just think they've probably put up a little bit of a better project of footy.
Yeah.
Be hard fought contest because both teams are going to want that win. But I just think North, if they haven't built up to this being a W, blow me down with a feather. So next week on the pod, if North win, I'm going to bring a feather in and you can attempt to blow me down. Because, you know, that's how certain I am that they'll win this. I'm actually going to make it my certainty of the week.
There we go. We were talking about confidence points last week, weren't we?
Yeah, go North.
All right, well, there we go. I feel like it's the closest game of the round. It's your certainty?
Yeah.
Cool, all right.
How confident I am in North after last week's green shoots. Remember I talked up green shoots?
No, you did.
They're still green or they change colour yet?
There's a lot of green shoots for North and
all right, can we move the fuck on? Steeler, who you got? Richmond, North Melbourne.
we can move on.
Good.
Oh, man, it's actually a tough match, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like this is the toughest match of the round, by far.
Richmond have been trying their hearts out, and North, I'm going to have to, after just splitting the points with my mob, the Lions, I reckon I have to give North the credit and say they're pretty good at the moment. They're in form. Yeah, we'll expect to see Richmond bring it on that note because they know that they just drew with the Premiers. So we'll expect a real good contest, but we'll back the Roos in.
Yeah, it's as you say. They drew with the top dogs last week. That's pretty good. But also, and more importantly, they pumped D's by 10 goals. Richmond lost to D's. I feel like that tells you everything. So I'm going to back the North. You know, being at the MCG is no advantage to either of them. They're both going to play well as they can on that ground. So
Privilege for the Roos.
That's it. All right, moving on to the next game. Sunday football at the Gabba. Brisbane Lions versus the Melbourne Demons. Whoa. Raby.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm just going to put in 2 words for this. Brisbane Lions.
Good. Steelo, who you got?
Yeah, I'll back the boys in at the Gabbatron.
Yep, cool. I'm Brisbane. Cool. Let's move the fuck on. All right, next game.
I mean, you know, the Roos, though. The Roos almost beat us. So you guys might be a chance.
Oh, Brisbane are going to be hard.
I wanted to move on because it's just going to be a smashing. D's are going to get smacked by like 10, 20 goals. Fuck, 20 goals, imagine.
Load up a multi then on the Lions.
I'd be shattered.
Load up the multis.
Absolutely.
I would say 49 points.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I reckon over 39.5. That's a good margin to go for. And I'd be surprised if it didn't get up, but we'll see how it goes. All right,
next game. Put on a multi during the pod, so get on all the predictions, and then put that multi on.
I said next game. We're done with that one. We're done with Melbourne. All right, we're not talking about Melbourne. Sorry, possessed.
Yeah.
Do you see a possessed thing? There's no possessed here, buddy. It's gone.
Sure.
It's gone the way of the dodo.
Kitchen.
All I see is possession because I got so many behind me.
Nah, look, I'll get the stuff out again. Look, anyway, let's move the fuck on. Sunday afternoon football at Optus Stadium. West Coast versus St Kilda. Reeves, who you got for this one?
I have one word for you, Nathan.
Yep, I'm waiting.
Well, you can probably assume that one word because one of the teams has one word and one team
Eagles.
has two. Oh, no. Well,
put it down as Eagles.
I'll enlighten you. St Kilda.
St Kilda is not one word.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
So where's this match being played again?
It's being played at Optus Stadium.
Optus? Oh, jeez, that's a big factor, actually. I don't know if they travel that well.
Oh, mate, we travel well.
boys might get lost. You might have a few too many beers on the way over.
Oh yeah, but that's like we travel well. Doesn't mean we play well when we play, but we definitely travel well.
West Coast going to be hungry for a win as well.
They're going to be hungry for a win, that's for sure.
They got another winnable one here. It's the Saints. But yeah, Saints footy should prevail. They need to get back to their true form and just the big fish in a small pond that they are. Yes.
Jesus, just stop with the insults, alright?
He's enjoying them.
He's enjoying them. But he's still tipping Saints at the end of the day.
Perennial 13th position, so they have to win a couple to make sure that they get 13th spot. Otherwise, what are they doing if they're not getting 13th spot?
They'll just float around, you know.
Yeah, well.
Bit of 12th.
Around there. So, I think we'll back the boys in then. We'll back the same as them.
Well,
we're just like a good golfer. You know, we're priming out of season, eyeing off the majors that come at certain times of the year, and we're trying to be in good form at those times of the year. Yeah.
Okay, alright, cool. Well, pitiful putrid Parker, parachute pants Parker, prevents piss poor performance. So there. I did the thing.
That was 7 Ps.
It was only 7 Ps, was it? Yeah, well, that was ad-libbed, alright? That wasn't planned ahead of time. Just decided to do it for no reason.
We have a world record of 12 Ps being produced in one statement.
Wow, lovely. We need to work on that. We can get those numbers up, them rookie numbers.
Put your P's down in the comments. Let us know. We want to see as many P's in a row as possible.
Chuck up a P. We want the P in the pod again. Alright? We want the P in the pod. You know what that means. We want the P in the pod. Alright, I'm going St Kilda, by the way. So, let's move on to the next game. Which is, there's no more games. It's closing thoughts. Raby.
Oh, well, I mean, just while I was on the topic, I mean, we have a major kicking off this weekend, just while we're on the golf topic.
Lovely.
And I just feel like Rory McIlroy, I mean, he won the last one at the Masters about 3 weeks ago now, maybe 4 weeks ago. And I just see him going back to back in the majors this year. So I'm going to get on old Rory. Played last week, shot 10 under, came about tied 15th or something, so showed a bit of good form. And I'm just going to go him to be back to back. But it's him and Scotty Scheffler, they're both $5.50 favourites, the two of them tied, and then the next best is at about $12. So yeah, it's really going to be a 2-horse shootout this major, and go Rory to get it done.
Go Rory to get it done. Steelo, closing thoughts.
I just wanted to say congratulations to Hutchie, a faithful listener and member of the pod, on playing his 200th game, or 250th, I should say, I think, or one of the two anyway, And we'll break it down for the boys. Just joined another crew of legends that are probably life members, I'd say, down there at the Moorabbin Kangas. So, yeah, absolute legend. He's got at least 200 under his belt, I'll tell you that much. A big fella.
No, sounds good. Sounds good. Shout out to Hutchie.
Him and Triple P.
Trip P. The deadliest P you've ever seen. Alright, well, my closing thoughts. Doom! The new Doom game comes out this week, Steelo. Did you know that?
Oh, mad. They got another one.
Doom the Dark Ages. It's a prequel. It's medieval Doom. Killing demons. Along to heavy metal music. It's going to be fucking sick. Alright?
Yeah, I like Doom. I like Doom a lot. Especially on the Steam Deck. Just smash a bit of Doom in the car.
Mate, bam. It's going to hit. It's on Game Pass. So I'm going, play it as a part of my subscription. That'll be great. Game Pass has been killing it this year, bro. It's been well worth it this year. Just had banger after banger after banger. We've still got more to go. Fuck. Yeah. Good stuff. Anyway, this isn't an ad for Game Pass or whatever. It's all for footy. So, without further ado, that's it from us at All for Footy. And we're out.
Peace.